Klondike Katie, they calls me in the Klondike. Man-trap for short, 'cause I always gets my man one way or t'other. Well, I'm going to tell you about what happened to me Saturday when I'm sitting in this bar drinking my lunch. This here big husky feller comes staggering in and sets himself alongside of me. He's that appealing to me that my radiator starts a-boiling and I has to stand up so's to cool off the bar stool. Well, I starts working on this here feller, but he ain't too enthusiastic on account of he's going to see a varsity game, he says, out to the stadium. He tells me he's got a box out there and mentions some dame called Alma Mater. Well, shit, so far as boxes goes, I'm thinking, what's this here Alma Mater got that I ain't got? So I persuades my friend onto a bus and I goes along with him. I brung my umbrella along with me 'cause it looks like rain, and as long as I'm toting it, I decides to put it up and make use of it. So we gets on the bus and the driver says to me, "Madam," he says, "you can't get on here with your umbrella up." And I says, "It's my umbrella, and if I wants it up, I'll have it up." So he tells me, "Madam, you'll either have to put your umbrella down or get off." So I puts it down to humor him. Then he says, "Madam, I mean shut the umbrella. It ain't so wet in here it's going to spoil your coiffure." And I tells him, what does he care if it does spoil? It's not going to do him no good anyhow. So I shuts it to please him, and I gets out some nickels and dimes to put into this here coffee grinder looking thing, and just then this here bus stops sudden like, and I drops my dime into my umbrella. When I reaches down in for it, an old son of a bitch getting on the bus rams his puss into my ass, which is sticking out, and knocks himself down. And the driver says, "Put your token in the box." I tells him, God damn if that old geezer can put his token in my box, and to please refrain from talking so dirty in public. My friend's sitting back there laughing, but I don't know why, 'cause I don't see nothing funny happening. Then we gets off on the bus, and I asks him if he wouldn't like something to wet his tonsils with. He agrees, so we hits off to a liquor place. I decides to buy the liquor, 'cause it's my idea, so I goes in and asks for a bottle of bourbon. Well, this here guy behind the counter asks me for my card. I says I ain't been in town long enough to have any printed yet. But he tells me he can't help that 'cause he's got to have a permit, so's he can check statistics, he says. Well, I ain't had time enough to work up any statistics, so I goes back outside and tells my friend he'll have to buy the liquor, 'cause I ain't worked up no statistics yet. We finally gets to where we're going, and I think we're in the wrong joint, 'cause this stadium building ain't all put together yet for sure. It ain't got no roof, and there's nothing in it but seats, and where the floor ought to be is nothing but a mess of grass with white lines on it. We finally get sat, and this here feller tells me he had to pay $3 for his box for the whole season. So I tells him I only charges $2, but I ain't never thought of seasoning wine. Then I looks down on this goddamn grass where the floor ought to be, and I sees all these yahoos wearing caps with earmuffs on 'em and kicking a lopsided ball at each other. Well, then I sees a couple of jailbirds with striped shirts on running around, and one of 'em drops his hanky, but he doesn't bother to pick it up on account of I guess he's running from the police. Then everybody jumps up, and so I jumps up too, and the guy in back of me says, "What a end!" And I says, "Mind your own damn business. My end is good enough for what I use it for." Then he says, "Sister, I'll bet you $5 on a touchdown in the second quarter." I tells him he ain't gonna touch me up or down in no quarter, and if he wants to talk business, to please not do it in front of my boyfriend. Then a cop shoots at one of the jailbirds, I guess, because I hear a gun go bang, and everybody changes sides and starts wrestling all over and falling down on each other, and this one guy gets away from the rest of 'em, and he's a-running like holy Jesus, with a bunch of fellers chasing him, and everybody jumps up and hollers again. Then my boyfriend, he starts reaching for the bottle, which I has put between my legs, and some guy hollers, "Open up that hole for him," and I tells him to shut his goddamn mouth, for it'll open up automatic like when it gets the right temperature. Well, all of a sudden, the guy in back of me says, "You owe me $5 on account of it was a touchdown." Well, I'm that astonished that I pays him the $5, and he says it was a sneak play. So I tells him it sure was, 'cause I never even felt him do it. Well, then I hears another bang, and everybody gets up and starts a pushing and shoving to get out of the joint. So I asked my boyfriend what happened. He says, alma mater finally scored just before the gun went off. Well, if an Alma is the kind of dame that only gets her gun off once in all his time, I tells him he's lucky to have me, Klondike Katie, who guarantees to get her gun off twice as often at half the price.